started, Collin, you had an impressive season debut last week in Las Vegas, finishing runner-up at the CJ Cup at the Summit. Can you touch on that performance and where your game stands entering this season?
Yeah, obviously nice to start on my home course. I think everyone knew that I was a member, and I've played it a bunch. But you still had to put the ball in the hole. You still had to make a lot of birdies. We saw the scores were low, and it was just a nice way to finish. I had a tough stretch on Friday, brought it back, and made some birdies on Saturday, and just build momentum. I knew my game has been kind of in the right spot, especially after how the playoffs ended last season. Not on the right foot, obviously. So. Overall the game feels really good, and that's what's good to start a new season and just have that little extra motivation after the finish last season.
For sure, and it's great to have that motivation as you come to Japan. You've played here before. You were here in 2019. You finished T22. Have you had a chance to play the golf course yet?
Yeah, so I played 9 holes yesterday. Played the back 9. Course is in fantastic shape, which is awesome. Obviously, last year or 2 years ago, we kind of had that storm, made everything really soft, but the course is in wonderful condition. Greens are great, fairways are really tightly cut, so you're going to have to pay attention to where you hit it, and some of the greens are playing pretty tricky so far.
And obviously we're going to have fans back this year. We're very excited to have them back. Like you just said, we're here in 2019. Can you touch on your excitement and the support you felt in the past from the Japanese fan base here?
These are some of the best fans. Obviously, I was here earlier for the Olympics, and we didn't have anyone, and it just felt dull. Even though it was the Olympics and we knew what we were playing for, it just, it has a different feeling when you have fans. I remember my first tee shot out here 2 years ago when there's fans on stools and lined up, 5, 6 people deep. They'd cheer for you, walk into tee boxes, hitting every tee shot, whether it's good or bad. And, sometimes it's not the best in our head. But it's enjoyable because they really understand the game. They appreciate us coming over, and we appreciate them. They bring so much energy. I've said it since kind of we've returned from COVID, and it's just really good to see people out here again.
And another question from me before I open it up to the media. You have strong ties to Japan. You have heritage on your father's side. Just excitement for that, and surrounding your family as well in this country.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is my 5th time now in Japan, 4th time playing golf, and my first time was in 2016. So I've pretty much come back once a year almost, and it's just getting better and better. Obviously, I wish we can go out and travel and explore the city a little more. That's some of my favorite parts of just being a professional golfer, but just to be here in Japan to play for the fans, once again, just that added motivation to try and win. It's really cool to win, obviously, when you're playing on the PGA Tour, but when you have an opportunity to win outside the U.S., the few places, when we do play outside, to add that to the resume would be pretty cool.
Absolutely. I do have some questions that were submitted by Japanese media, but before we do that, Adam Schupak from Golf Week does have a question, and he'll come on video to ask you.
Hey, Collin, what are your fondest memories from that first trip first time you played competitively in Japan?
I remember we were all stuck at the mall because it was this tournament 2 years ago, and my caddy, myself, Kat, my girlfriend, and another caddy, Brandon Antis, who is JJ's friend, we decided to walk back from the mall about 3 miles. And it wasn't raining, but we were walking through puddles. I think we walked on the freeway under some tunnels. So, that was one of the biggest memories. We made it a week, and some of the food out here is the best. It's my favorite, and it's always nice to come back.
Do you have anything stick out from seeing Tiger win number 83?
I think just how well he played. Obviously, I was focused on myself playing well, and I don't think I really played with him or saw him really around the golf course when I was out there. But 83 wins is just amazing, right? Or 82 wins. Sorry, I'm getting people calling me out. To get the 82nd win, obviously it's amazing, and what he's done for the game is just impressive. So to see what he did at that age and at that time, it just shows you're never too old to still compete with us.
What did you find in your game over the weekend last week?
I didn't really find anything. There's little things that I'm not going to dive too far in because I'm still trying to figure it out. But Just little things, when I compare myself to playing, shooting 17 under on the weekend to a few under, the first 2 days, or you compare it to the playoffs, right? Not playing well in the playoffs. They're just little things you think about when you're playing or when you're hitting shots that, might work for me, might not work for someone else, but, it's figuring out how I'm going to be a little more consistent. So what I'm thinking about through those last 2 rounds, how I'm thinking through shots is kind of what I want to bring to this week in the future and make sure I don't forget these things. I tell myself when I'm playing bad, these are big lessons I want to learn from, and I make sure I don't try and repeat them. But when I'm playing good, sometimes I forget what I did as well. And, it's not as simple as just taking a swing video when you're playing well and you can remember that. So it's just little things that, sometimes you forget about them because you worry about something else or you're trying to work on another part of your game. But it's, stick to your strengths and keep pushing those.
You mentioned winning internationally, and of course you did at the British, but what would it mean to do so in Japan?
Oh, it'd mean a lot. I think it just shows that, your game can travel, and obviously I was never really in contention at the Olympics, other from that, late run for the bronze medal. But, you want your game to travel. That's why I'm a European Tour member. That's why I play, a lot, or I try and play a lot in different places. I mean, this next month and a half of travel, I'm playing here in Japan. We're going to play in Dubai. We're going to play in the Bahamas. It's a lot of travel, and you got to adjust and you got to get your body right. And I think that's just what it is to be a professional golfer, is learning, on the road of how to get ready each and every week.
Yeah. Lastly, what are some of those foods you really look forward to eating when you're over in Japan?
Sushi, udon, everything. Everything out here is just, I think it's the best. I can come out here and stay for a month, I wish, and just eat, and I probably would not look the same coming back.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Adam. We have a question from Golf Digest Japan, Osama Nakamura.
はい、お願いします。ですね、コリン選手の一つの、武器になっているフェードボールについてなんですけど、17番とか18番とか左ドッグレッグのホールでもフェードボールを、打っていますか?
So, in regards to your fade shot, which is one of your strengths, so and 17 and 18, are you planning to hit fade on those holes as well?
Yeah, I mean, 17, it's not like I can draw it around the corner. I don't think many people can hit it 350. So I'm still going to stick to my shot. And 18, I can still hit a fade. I can still play it over the trees, and I can still find my spot. So depending on what the wind is like, maybe you take 3-wood, maybe you hit driver. It's all dependent on kind of the conditions we have for the day.
はい、ありがとうございます。それともう一つ56度のウェッジと60度のウェッジ入れてると思うんですけど、その使い分けを簡単に教えていただけるとありがたいです。
Okay, so you have a 56 degrees wedge and 60 degrees. In what kind of situations do you use them separately?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just shot dependent, whether I have a lot of green or whether you're short-sighted. The greens are pretty fast out here, so you're probably going to be using 60 degrees a lot, but they kind of bowl off, right? So when you miss them on the sides, you're almost chipping uphill and then it runs away. So sometimes your 56 degree might be better to land it in the upslope and let it run over. But you know what? It's just feeling whatever you're most confident with and just going with that.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you. And then just a couple more questions that were submitted to me. You had a chance yesterday to play with the #1 amateur, Keita Nakajima. Can you tell us about that experience and your impressions of him?
Yeah, Keita was awesome. Striped the ball. That's one of the biggest things I saw. I mean, everything sounded amazing. He was hitting it really straight. And you don't get to the #1 player in the world for the amateur rankings, unless you're playing pretty well and you're a good player. But I could see why. Sometimes you see players and you kind of guess how they got there, but I could see definitely why and how he got there. He's got a good foundation, and it was really cool. It was really cool to meet him. Obviously, he's someone that is going to have a great future ahead of him. He's got a lot to look forward to, but hopefully he can just enjoy the moment and enjoy where he's at. And, that's what I did. I still miss amateur golf. I still miss college golf, and you only get so much time to do that. And, now we're living out our dream.
Thank you for that. 2 more questions. You announced yesterday that you have a new Japanese sponsor. Is that correct, in Kawa?
Yes, in Koa, yeah.
So can you just touch on your excitement to, expand with partnerships outside of the U.S. as your brand continues to grow and you continue to advance as a player and, have companies from other countries looking to do work with you?
Yeah, I think, as professional athletes, it's our job to grow the game and to, bring our face when it's appropriate, and expand it as much as we can. And I think having partnerships in Japan like this, with Koa, Mr. Miwa, their CEO, it's just wonderful, right? We want to reach markets, and obviously Japan, you could see by the fans how excited they are about golf and how much they love golf. So to have my name out here and to expand, just who I am as a player, and not just a player and a golfer, but as a person, right? I think people want to know more about who I am, more about what I like to do. Obviously, they could see and they can go watch golf highlights, but they want to see more than that. And I think that's kind of the next insight of what people want to see, and I think that's what's really cool. And hopefully this partnership just keeps growing like that.
All right, and we'll wrap up with one more question from Adam Schupak at Golf Week.
Collin, what's one thing you learned about one of your teammates at the Ryder Cup that you didn't already know?
We like to party. No, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of little things that I kind of picked up upon. I think what was really cool was to see everyone kind of take their role in, we had a bunch of rookies, but you saw DJ take a leadership role, even though it was a quiet leadership. You saw JT and Jordan get that energy pumping through us. You had, like a guy like Berger who was just, you could talk to him about anything. You could have fun. So everyone kind of fit that puzzle piece. And even though there is no perfect puzzle for, what's going to make a great team, everyone understood that, what we were going to do out there was to try and win. And everyone was going to do everything that they could and not make anything bothersome for anyone else. So everyone just, it was just a thorough team that was put together. And, it was just a lot of fun. So I wouldn't say there's one specific thing that really just caught my eye out of the blue.
You learn anything about yourself that week, about yourself or your game?
That I love being in that position. I was more nervous at my Walker Cup tee shot, which is crazy to even think about, than my first Ryder Cup tee shot, which I don't know if many people could say that, but I just loved being in that moment. And there's things that, that I learned, especially throughout playing in the Ryder Cup, that's going to help me for regular stroke play events like last week, this week, and tournaments moving forward. So that's what's really cool. Even though it's a team event, you can learn things for really any time.
All right, Dodgers are down 5-2.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for pointing that out. I've been paying attention.
All right. Well, have a good week.
Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, Collin. Good luck this week.
Thank you.